When you meet Diane, her Midwestern roots greet you with her friendly, down-to-earth manner, always genuine and real. Her artistic path intersects with many of the most distinguished artists, thinkers, creatives of the 20th and 21st centuries. She has served the art form of dance in so many ways as an artist, choreographer, teacher, and cultural philanthropist. Congratulations, Diane. I'm so proud and honored to present you with the Martha Hill Lifetime Achievement Award for your contributions to the art form of dance. I love you, Diane.
Because Cheryl could not be here in person, we have asked someone else close to Diane to speak tonight. Her bio did not make it into your printer program, so please allow me to, if you will, share a little bit about Aziza. Aziza was born and raised right here in Harlem, New York, and began her professional dance career with Diane McIntyre and Sounds in Motion in 1984. Over the years, Aziza has worked with Diane as a performer and as both a personal and rehearsal assistant. Aziza is a former director of programs at Judson Memorial Church and was curator, of Dance of African Descent Downtown, widely known as the DADD series. Was that Dad?
Yeah,
Dad. Okay, thank you for that. She is the founder, artistic director of Deaf Dance Jam Workshop, an intergenerational company of differently abled performing artists representing the spectrum of abilities. Under the auspices of the U.S. State Department in conjunction with the Fulbright Foundation, Aziza traveled abroad in order to bring her unique teaching approach to teachers and their students in other countries. An ordained interfaith minister since 2003, Aziza has focused her creativity towards serving in new ways by joining the Peace Corps and spending 4 years in Moldova and Eswatini. Please welcome Aziza.
Bear with me, because you know when the music comes on in talk shows, for people to wrap up, I'm not wrapping up. I live my life to say thank you to Diane McIntyre. Diane McIntyre not only taught me how to dance, she taught me how to soar. When I was about 11 or 12, I insisted that my mother take me to everything dance. Theater, shows, dance classes, films, anything. So one Saturday, after my usual ballet and tap class, we were going through Harlem to do my mother's Saturday chores. And I remember I looked up and I saw this huge picture window on 125th Street in Lenox. And it was fogged up, but all these dancers were moving and moving. And I tugged at my mother's hand and I said, I want to go to that dance class. And my mom said, I think that's an adult class. I said, Mommy, I can do that. And I think they're gonna let me in there. So we went right up the stairs to the studio on 125th Street in Lenox. Now, I grew up in a Harlem dance school owned by an African-American woman. So when we walked into the studio and Ms. McIntyre said she was the owner, I knew that this was special. I knew that this was where I belonged. My mother asked if I could take the class, and Diane graciously said, well, I'm not teaching today, but Bernadine Jennings was teaching.
What?
And Diane said yes, so you can take the class. I remember going into this class and the excitement of the dance class and me moving with all of these adults. And I remember looking out that same window saying, wow, I wonder if people are looking up at me. Do I look as great as those people do? Just the fact that I was in the room with them was more than enough. This was my first time I met the goddess, Diane McIntyre. And this was the start of my journey of flight in dance. Now fast forward a few years later when I was in college, and I was studying with Debbie Lukic, one of my teachers. And she said to me, she pulled me aside, she said, there's this incredible choreographer named Diane McIntyre, and she's holding auditions for her company, Sounds in Motion. She said, but what I want you to know is, I think that's where you belong. Now, aside from auditions for scholarships for schools and classes and getting into university, I had never been to a professional audition before. So now going up to these same steps to Lenox Avenue, it seemed a little steeper this time at 20 than when it was at 11. And I had not been back to the studio since I was that 11-year-old girl. I walked into the studio and it was packed. It was probably about 100 dancers, but it seemed like 300 dancers in my mind. And then I remembered, how is she gonna move all of these bodies in this space? I mean, I remember from that window and looking up how the dancers were soaring in their arms and they were jumping and leaping. All of these people in this one space, how is she gonna do this? But I do remember the expressions on their face. It was an expressions of, we love to dance. We started with this warm-up, and Hank Williams was playing the piano. Now, Hank Williams, as anyone knows, when he played the piano, he played the studio. Because he thumped with one leg, and then he played the piano like a djembe drum. So he really did play the studio. The rhythms were going fast and slow, and I was like, well, how are they communicating? Because Diane wouldn't like count them in, or he wouldn't say. They had this kind of telepathic communication. And so on a beat, the rhythm would change. It would go staccato, it would go adagio. And I'm like, okay, how are we doing it? I'm trying to, all right, let me catch up. Diane taught with such skill. The warm-up seamlessly wove combinations where we were in trios and duets and going across the floor, and then we were improvising and we were going back. It just moved so seamlessly. But what I remembered most was Diane's commands. So she said, okay, do 50 movements in 30 seconds, don't repeat one movement, go. I was like, what? Okay, but my body didn't. Diane's commands had my body moving in ways they never did before. She would shout, move your body like the rhythm Hank's playing on the piano. Do that in your body, that rhythm. What? Okay. And my body did it. Then she was like, carve your arms through the space. Slice, slice, move out the obstacle, give. Make it come from your soul. What? Okay. And my body did it. The audition had to be 3 hours, but it felt like 5 or maybe 10. I remember leaving exhausted but invigorated, because I had never experienced anything like this. But what I did know is now I knew what I had to work towards in dance. I had discovered what I was working towards. But I didn't really remember, like, did I get it? No one said anything to me. I said, well, I didn't get the job, but now I know what I'm doing. Again, Diane not only taught me how to dance, she taught me how to soar. Diane called me that night saying she wanted me to come back the next day. Now, I had a rehearsal at my university, and everyone was saying, how did the audition go? How did you do? And I was like, I thought I did good, but I don't think I did good. Because Diane called me and said I needed to come back and do it again. I didn't know what a callback was. I was a little embarrassed. Until they explained, you got a callback. I was like, is that a good thing? So in 1984, Diane offered me my first professional dance job. I have followed Diane with great devotion since that day. Because of Diane's guidance, I hold rhythms and the power of my ancestors in this body. Through her mentorship, I have the precision to cut through life's obstacles, navigating with choreographic maneuvers, grace, and humility. And through her friendship, I have soared, accomplishing goals and dreams that elevate my divine purpose. But most of all, Diane, because of you, I am one of the very fortunate beings walking on this earth that has the honor of being in your presence, who now holds the mantra of, oh, I love to dance. Congratulations.
That was a surprise. I mean, I invited Aziza as a guest. I had no idea. In fact, I have something in my notes, a little bio of her. Wow. Oh my goodness. First of all, I want to say, oh, thank you, Aziza. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Daniel Madoff, for the beautiful film. Wow. And I want to say how honored I am to be receiving this Lifetime Achievement Award in the name of Martha Hill. It means so very much to me. Oh my goodness. Thank you to the committee, thank you to the board, thank you to everyone who has honored me with this award. It means the world to me. I had the very good fortune to know Miss Martha Hill. I was not a Juilliard student. My mother really was pulling for me to go to Juilliard, but because we were it wasn't going to work out just financially. And then when I did come to New York, Martha Hill was a person who was coming to my concerts and giving me boosts and even advice, or times when I maybe was down. She seemed to know everything about what I was doing. That's who she was. She had her pulse on everything in dance. And I'm fortunate to have been old enough to experience that with her. So to know that even people who were not part of the Juilliard family, she was a mentor and a booster, a champion of our works also. So I have to shift some things I was going to say, but let me. Aziza and Cheryl, wow, they are some of my favorite people. We both, Aziza, myself, Cheryl and myself, we have, you know those friends you have hours-long conversation where you have to make appointments after a while? We boost each other. So I would like to thank the Divine Creator. I thank my parents. I thank my sister, my family, my friends, all the many, many dancers, musicians, collaborators I've worked with over so many decades. Last year was the 50th year of my work in dance. So I don't know how many of you remember, well, I look around, not too many, but there was a TV show a long time ago called This Is Your Life. Oh, okay. The other people can look, I can Google it. So, and This Is Your Life happened like this. What happened is that there would be a person who was a celebrity was taken by a friend, a colleague, and they were think they're going on a shopping spree or go to dinner. And then they took them actually into this door, and when the door opened, this man who was the host of the program says, so-and-so, like Joe Kirby, this is your life. And then the whole audience, the studio audience was applauding. So the person was actually coming to a television show that was honoring their life. There were celebrities each week it came on. So and then people throughout the program would talk about them and honor them, about childhood, about the da-da-da-da, everything in their life. And then they got to see those people, some whom they had not seen for 20 years or so. It was a really fine program. Our family used to watch it all the time. Well, it happened one day when I was in the 3rd grade at Rickoff Elementary School in Cleveland, Ohio. One day my teacher, Miss McNamara, said to the class, "One day, you will see Diane McIntyre on This Is Your Life." This is it. Oh, wow. So in this particular, my comments tonight are kind of opposite of that TV show. In that TV show, the people were thanking the person who was the honoree. In this evening, I will, through my dance life, thank and honor the people who have helped me be to this moment of This Is My Life. So, first of all, I would like to say that I didn't go to Juilliard, but I went to the Ohio State University. I was in the dance department there. Yeah. Still with the Yes, and my mentors there, the faculty, Vera Blaine, James Payton, Lucy Venable, Helen Alkire, the head of the department, they all encouraged me to choreograph. They encouraged me as a dancer, but also as a choreographer. And then we had amazing guest artists like Viola Farber, Lucas Hoving, Judith Dunn, and Bill Dixon from the Judson Church era, Anna Sokolow. Whoa. One time, Anna Sokolow did a piece. We were coached before she came. We were coached to understand this may be tough on you, but it's nothing personal. So we were told, just be ready for anything. So that was true. The first thing she said when she came in to see us, she had done a piece called Odes with the students at Juilliard. Did you do it? No, that was before your time. But she said, you all do not, she told us straight out, you all do not have the technique. You all may not have the technique to do this piece, but you're gonna do it with guts. Which was the truth. And then after she was with us with such an iron hand in rehearsal, then we'd finish and she'd be like, oh wow, let's have a party, let's da da da. That was Anna Sokolow. She had a great impression on me, not only in her teaching way, but also in the way I choreographed. Then, right before I got to New York, and I was on my New York journey, I had a very strong inspiration by seeing Carolyn Adams dance. With the Paul Taylor Company. So I would thank Carolyn for that, because I said, whoa, look at that dancing. Maybe I could dance like that. Maybe not like her, but take the step to go all the way. And I also was a big fan of Paul Taylor. It was one of my favorite companies. I wanted to be like Paul Taylor. You all might not understand that. I wanted to be, I didn't mean to say all these things, but I wanted to be like Paul Taylor, a person who did very daring work and had a broad audience. So you can go all the way out there doing something that people haven't seen before, and a broad audience can be drawn into it. And then I got the good fortune to actually meet Carolyn and her sister Julie. And we have such a beautiful bond together with their wonderful studio in Harlem. And they had, so she has the Harlem home connection, the elegance and beauty of that, and the international. Thank you, Carolyn. So I've also been very inspired by Gus Solomons Jr. I worked with his company. He made me dance. Louise Roberts from Clark Center. She gave me space in order to rehearse, and she also gave me performances at Clark Center. Diane Harvey, who is here this evening. Where are you, Diane? Yes, Diane. She became a colleague of mine when we were doing something in a musical, but she also connected me with Elio Pomare. Elio was a person who also, there's so many people, they just open their arms. Elio gave me free studio space before I had my own space, and he also gave me notes about my dance. I appreciate it. Now, some people don't dare to do that. They look at your work and they say, oh, it could be a little more like this or that. But unless you ask, people don't usually offer that. But Elio offered that. And he was bold to offer that. And I appreciate it so much. Some things I still remember. And then Mr. George Faison. So George Faison, a modern dance and contemporary choreographer, and the first African American to win a Tony Award for choreography. So George always has maneuvered through all those worlds, the concert world, the commercial world, the Broadway, the film world, and he had a wonderful studio on Broadway about 96th Street? 96th Street, and he gave me space to rehearse with my company early on when I was developing my first work, and we never have stopped being friends and colleagues. Yes, and thank you, George. Also, I give a wonderful thank to Sylvia Waters. Sylvia, early on in my career, she recognized something in me, and she invited me to do a piece on the company then called the Alvin Ailey Repertory Company. That was one of my first works, one of the first works I ever did that was of that magnitude. And that work was called Deep South Suite, and became a signature piece for that company, and also they allowed me to do it for my company. So I thank you, Sylvia, thank you. I'm just going all through the years. Then I have my company, Sounds in Motion. We're based on 125th and Lenox Avenue. You can read all about it in the bio. And yes, the people could see us from the street. We had these great picture windows, and you could just sit there like the drive-in movie, or you could walk down the street. And you could see, especially at nighttime, you could see everything we were doing. So the whole community knew Sounds in Motion, whether you came inside or not. So I was going to speak about Aziza. She already spoke. I was going to speak about her as one of the people was central to Sounds in Motion. There were many, many central people to Sounds in Motion. Another was Willa Jawale, Willa Jozala. She was my right-hand person for 4 years, and she developed her first work that ended up being Urban Bushwomen at Sounds in Motion. Yes, we were connected with all the cultural institutions. Then I also thank the NEA for the dance touring program. We got to tour all around the world. Let me say it. This was for American.
Right, thank you.
This for American touring. So during that period, I had the good fortune of when we were supported by the National Endowment for the Arts, my company, we had the good fortune to be connected with H.T. Chin and Company, and Dion Dong. Dion, stand up. Dion and her brilliant husband, H.T. Chin, we were champions of each other's work, continue to be. And Dion's daughter is here today. Yeah. Dion, Evelyn, stand up too. Thank you for your support and your friendship over time. Another person, Sally Ann Kriegsman. She was with the NEA and with Jacob's Pillow. She was always such a champion of mine. She continues to say, Diane, are you doing something? Da, 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 da. Well, let me call somebody about that. She's like that. Then, but I need a tissue because people make me cry. Okay. Okay. Only because they're photographed. Anyway, I also in my journey, I had so much to appreciate from the American Dance Festival, Charles and Stephanie Reinhardt and Jody Nemerichter, who continues that tradition. And they were the people who also really held up my work called, the work I recreated of Helen Tamiris called How Long Brethren. So that work was done in 1937, and I did a lot of work to bring it back, and it brought a lot of new attention to Tamiris. So I thank the American Dance Festival. My people, many people who've been supporting me from 651 Arts, and Mickey Shepard, who started that program through BAM. She was my first manager, and she, Alicia Adams, Laura Greer, Maureen Knighton, Anna Glass, Georgiana Pickett, all those people ran 651 Arts at one time or another. And they are still very supportive of my work. I thank them so much. And also, New York Live Arts has commissioned me in the recent years, as well as Carla Maxwell of the Lamone Foundation. Yes, Carla. Then I have to give a big thank you to the Doris Duke Foundation, giving me much support, and recently the Ford Foundation, because I'm doing new work. I hope you all see my tour that's coming up. And the tour is being supported by producing and tour management by Octopus Theatrical. And one of the people here tonight, Adam Heineman, is with that organization. He's been very supportive of moving my work forward. And also Jacob's Pillow. So I have done performances, commissions from Jacob's Pillow, and over the past several years, I have been the co-director of the Jacob's Pillow Hicks Choreography Fellows Program, and my co-director is the amazing Risa Steinberg. Stand up, Risa. She's not going to stand up. Okay, we have, she said we're partners in crime. I mentioned the International Association of Blacks in Dance. I work on their companies, and they're supportive. And the Cleveland, I live in Cleveland, folks, but I go every place. And the Cleveland Dance Companies, I support them. Virginia Johnson had me do a new piece on Dance State of Harlem. And she said we're on parallel universes for years. Dance has, now I'm going to read this part. Dance has many universes, different genres, different aesthetics, different preferences, different audiences, different funders. One day, David White, who was for many years the director of Dance Theater Workshop, one day David told me he went to a concert at Riverside Church of Chuck Davis. The place was packed with all of these, it was filled, all these people. David White said he did not know one single person there. Now David was in the center of the dance world. He went to see Chuck Davis's company, African American company. He did not know one single person in the audience. So it's like, oh, isn't that interesting? So I want to say that this platform at Martha Hill Dance Fund erases those borders, but keeps the distinctions. How can that be more so? More merging, more respect and understanding from, say, like IABD, International Association of Blacks in Dance, to downtown New York dance art, New York downtown art. Miss Hill erased those borders. How can that be more erasure? You say, yeah, in the education and it's coming together, it can be more. One thing I like to leave with you, the same as McNamara, who said one day, you're going to see Diane McIntyre on This Is Your Life. On another day, I don't know if it was before or after this, she said, there was a young man in the class who was reading. We used to read out loud in those days to practice reading. He was reading, it was a little slow, he was stumbling on some words, and I went like this. Miss McNamara said, Diane, we all learn at our own pace. We must understand how different people learn. And we must be respectful, and we must have compassion. Those two quotes from Ms. McNamara I carry in my heart. Thank you so much.
Beyond inspiring